So we got a 2012 Mercedes-Benz, the C180. Customer complaint is that the battery light is remaining on while he's driving. It's running down the battery, and he'd like me to diagnose it. So let's see if we can figure it out. So this customer came from a far distance away, and he wanted me to, diagnose his vehicle for him, right? So he have a new battery in the vehicle, but for some reason the battery light is staying on and is also draining out, right? So I believe he came up here with like 3 batteries in the vehicle trying to get it to me, and he was successful, but it's still running the battery down, right? I noticed that the battery sensor here, the wire had broke, so I had to do some repairs right here. It basically cut, down the hole. So I was able to fix that, and put a little silicone to keep it intact, but I believe he will have to eventually replace that, right? Let's put the battery back on and make sure all is well, right? So with that, I'm gonna go in the car and show you exactly what the customer complaint is. So the customer complaint is that the battery light is coming on the display, right, while the vehicle is running, and it's also draining out the battery, right? So let's start the vehicle up and see if we get the same symptoms. All right, so it started right up. Check light is on. So let me get the scan tool and put it on this vehicle and see what codes I'm getting. Right, so let's come out of there. So for some reason I'm not getting the auto VIN. Alright, so I'm gonna have to do it manually. Is the AC working? Let's see if the AC is working. Yes, it is. Alright, so let's press enter. So we got some 4 codes. Let's read the 4 codes. Alright, so I got an evap current code, I got an evap code, I got a cylinder number 3 misfire. Alright, and I got an evap code. Alright, so I gotta let the customer know that you got a P0303 code as well. Alright, kind of felt it. Alright, but this is not going to help me, so what we're going to do next is go on the hood with a multimeter and take a look and see exactly if the alternator is charging. Oh, there you have it. The light came on. So we do have a fault on the alternator because the battery light just came on. Let's redo our scan and see if we get anything concerning the alternator. No, nothing. What is the charge rate going on? Let's look in live data and let's look at the alternator battery voltage control module. I'm trying to see if I see the battery voltage, but it's not showing up here. Let's press OK. So I'm getting 14.7 volts, right? So let's go on the hood with a multimeter and see if we're getting that same voltage. Okay, so right now the battery is being charged by the alternator. I'm seeing 14 volts while the vehicle is running. Alright, so I'm not sure exactly what the problem is, but I may have to go and look at the wiring diagram and see exactly what's going on, because right now I'm charging at 14 volts, right, but the battery light is on. So I mean, is it that the ECU is not in command of the alternator? So I gotta see exactly how that's set up, right? Alright, so I just got my hands on wiring diagram, right? I'm still pumping 14 volts, right, coming into this battery. And let's take a look at the wiring diagram and see if we can figure out exactly what wires and how many wires go into this alternator, right? So right now, off of pin 30, you see I'm getting battery voltage, alright? So that's the cable that's going from the alternator B post to the battery. Alright, I also have a red cable going from the, what is this, the G1. G1 is the alternator and M1 is the starter. Why do we have a wire on this one? You probably have a shared, what you call it? A shared power cable or something, I'm not sure. Right, and we got a communication wire. Most likely is a LIN bus wire going to the alternator and the ECU. Yeah, to the ECU. Right, so we got this ECU command type alternator, right? So We gotta see if we have command to the alternator from the ECU, right? This doesn't carry a fuse from the fuse box, so I'm not gonna go after the front SAM, right? But I gotta make sure that I have a ground, and I also have the command from the ECU, which is the A35, right? And also I got my connector straight to the B post of the alternator, right? As I said, I'm still at 14 volts, right? I'll probably let it sit for a little bit and take a look and see what's good, right? But right now everything looking good, right? Let's see if the indicator light is still on. All right, so we still got the battery light on. All right, let's take this AC off. All right, so with the battery light on, we got the battery still getting charged on the alternator. So is it enough to call the alternator? Let me do some checks at the alternator, make sure that my B plus cable is good, make sure my communication line is good as well, and whatever that red wire is going to the starter, I gotta make sure that's good as well, right? So let me get under the hood and probably go under the car and do some checks, because the alternator is at the bottom of the engine, right? So let me get that done. The alternator is under this charge hose setup here, and it also under the vehicle. So I gotta remove this, right? And I also gotta remove this pipe and get to the alternator. But I like to do some checks first, you know, under there before I take it off. All right, so probably gotta do, you know, voltage drop test, you know, also make sure that the communication line is good, right? It's kind of hard to get you to see what's going on under there, but it's, trust me, it's right there. All right, so let me get under the vehicle and drop the shield and see if I can get access to these cables. As you see, I'm under the vehicle, and this is where the alternator is at. Okay, so I gotta get to this connector right there. All right, let's see exactly how much wires do we have. I believe I may have to move some of these lines from here. All right, so let me see if I can just get my hands in this space. It's kind of in a tight spot. And all right, good. See if we can get the light there. As I said, kind of hard to show everything when you're doing these kind of vehicles. Okay, so seeing that I'm unable to, you know, get access to do my test, right, on this alternator, it's kind of difficult to get under there. I believe I may just pull the alternator out and do my test outside, because it's really in a tight spot, right? So let's take the battery pull off and let's see if we can get this alternator out, and I mean, you know, check the brushes and all those things like that outside, because it's really in a tight spot. All right, so let me just line the glass up. All right, kill all the power, take my scan tool out, and let's see exactly if we can get this alternator out. Yeah, so it was kind of tricky to get this out. All right, so I had to remove the under shield and slide the alternator out to this side, right? And once it comes to this side, I was able to pull it out, right? So let me show you exactly how the alternator looked. All right, the bearing is good, but for some reason, as I said, it's not charging. So I'm going to take it to see if I can get it serviced, and then put it back on and see if the charging, you know, comes back to life.
1 hour later.
Right, so I just got the alternator back from the service repair guy, so I'm gonna pop it in and let's redo our checks. He said that the brushes in the alternator was worn, so he replaced them, and let's see what's good. All right, so I got the alternator back on this vehicle, and I also got my multimeter set up on the battery, right? So I got it set up because I like to see the min and max voltage that's being used while I'm cranking, right? So let's put this on this feature where I can scope it, right? And I'm going to increase the time. So when I start the vehicle, I like to see, you know, exactly what voltage was used by the starter to, you know, crank over, right? So let's start the vehicle up and see what's good. All right, so if you can recall, before I had the battery light that was on. Let's see if it's still on. All right, I'm going to start up. We do have a check light because we have a fault on the evap, right? So let's go in front and see what's good. Alright, so what I'm seeing here, my max is at 15.5 and my min was like 11, right, which is not bad, right? So basically I lost like, let's say, almost 2 volts when I cranked the vehicle, which is excellent. Alright, so let's take a look at the multimeter and see what my voltage is, right? 14.35 while I'm charging. Before I was reading like 12 volts when the vehicle was running, right? So that let me know that what I did fix this vehicle and rectify the problem of the charging system. Okay, I'm gonna go in the vehicle and let's see if the indicator is on for the battery or not. I'm not seeing anything. Let's run through the menu. You also have some problems with the run flat and check the wear brakes and stuff like that. You got some more issues that we have to rectify, but for now I'm gonna definitely call this a fix, right? So we had a broken communication LIN bus line on the battery, right? And we also had a alternator that wasn't charging, right? So yeah. So anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, share, comment, dig. Until next time, y'all take it easy. Peace.